Hey, good afternoon, digital distribution and channel marketing team. One of the things that makes me really excited about working for AT&T is that we have a very strong sense of duty and doing the right thing. And that's something that pervades our entire company, all the way up and down the chain. And today I'm really proud to talk about two of our own who have gone over and above in this hour of need as disaster to disaster has struck our country. And this pertains to Hurricane Harvey. Undoubtedly, you all know about what happened during Harvey. What you might not know is that two of our employees, Chad Allen, who reports in from Brian Schneider to Walt Rivenbark and is part of the FirstNet and Mobile Field Services team, spent 3 days in Houston, where he joined a crew from Frisco, both current and former AT&T employees who took it upon themselves to take 3 boats and 2 trailers and a bunch of supplies and head out to Houston to help people out in need. The second person, Brian Nail, who reports in through Joey Schultz through Deborah Gelman. He joined what they call the Cajun Navy, a bunch of civilians from East Texas and Louisiana who bought their boats to Houston in the flooded areas to help in the rescue efforts. Both Brian and Chad both expressed their strong desire to help their affected countrymen, and they felt very strongly that whatever they did, they knew they had AT&T and their management team behind them. What I'll do is, since it's the afternoon, I'll just raise a glass of coffee to both of them for going over and above and embodying the spirit that is our organization, that is of AT&T, and hope that this inspires each one of you to generously help out in all the situations that this company can help out. Thank you very much. Signing out from Dallas, this is Abhi. Now on to talking to those two gentlemen.
Hi, my name is Chad Allen. I'm in Abhi Gingle's organization as the Government Mobile Field Solutions Manager. I just want to talk a little bit about Hurricane Harvey and our efforts. We were able to put together a rescue team to go down and help those who were stranded down in Houston. We were able to, in less than 12 hours, assemble a group of 9 people, men and women, and 3 trucks, 2 trailers, and 2 boats, and went caravan down to Houston in order to help rescue people that were in need. One of the things that we did was posted on Facebook. We were able to get a lot of donations from the local Dallas community, so much so that we had to turn quite a bit of it away because the community was just great in the response. We were able to donate to 2 churches as far as food. We got in, we were actually trying to get to a particular location in Houston, and the roads were blocked off because the flooding was so high we couldn't get the vehicles through. Ended up rescuing a elderly gentleman. He was in his 70s, who was handicapped. He was wheelchair bound and had MS, and they were not able to get out of the neighborhood. So we took the boats in. We were able to put them in the boats and get him and his family out. And then on the 3rd day, we actually were able to use technology to hook up with a family that needed to go back into their neighborhood to get stuff out of their house, valuables out of their house, and we boated them back in chest high water. What was really exciting about the effort was we were able to use, like I said, the technology, enhanced push to talk between the 9 of our members. We also knew that we were sending down over 8,000 devices for first responders, all of which were using enhanced push to talk, as well as some advanced data services to make sure that they had priority on the network, which actually was very much in line with what we're doing nationally as part of the FirstNet effort for first responders. And so we knew there was a very good chance we're going to be communicating with those first responders. So having enhanced push to talk on those 9 devices in order to communicate not only amongst ourselves but potentially with law enforcement and other first responders was very, very exciting. So what made the relief effort such a success was the fact that we had so many people involved at AT&T that I was coordinating with while I was down there. So one of the people I was coordinating with was Doug Clark, who's the AVP of FirstNet. He was actually in Austin during that time, working in the Emergency Operations Center, helping the emergency management folks coordinate all the rescue efforts that were down there. And I communicated with him on a daily basis, as well as Chris Ortiz, who happens to be on my team. He has the state of Texas and was working with emergency management I talked to Chris several times a day because I would call Chris in the morning after he would get off the emergency operation calls for the state, and he would tell me where we could go, the areas we should stay out of, things like that. Then of course Brian Schneider, who's my boss, that gave me the nod to go ahead and go down and take the time to make the effort and help with the efforts down in Houston. So I was very impressed with the way that different organizations and people at AT&T that were involved in the hurricane came together to communicate to make it a success. I'd just like to say it was it really was an honor to be able to be part of a team that was organized in a very short amount of time and go down and help the efforts of people that needed it in the local community. And that paired with the ability to take down devices and technology that we're actively working on to deploy for FirstNet and be able to use that and AT&T's network in order to make an impact in the local market was huge.
I'm Brian Nail. I work in B2B UX under Joey Schultz umbrella, and this is my Hurricane Harvey story. So I was having dinner with a friend, and my brother called me up and asked me if I wanted to go help down in Houston. And I have 4 years of hurricane response training with the Texas State Guard. I did feel a need to go down there and try to utilize the skills that I had acquired while I was there. The next morning we packed up. We started following the Cajun Navy on social media and got linked into their radio traffic and was able to find out where they were having the most activity, and it sounded like Port Arthur was where a lot of the action was happening. A lot of people were still needing to be pulled out of the water there. Took a couple of hours to get into Port Arthur. It's only about, I'd say 80, 90 miles into Port Arthur from Houston, but we had to go through significant flood waters to get there. We had to reroute several times and get off the main highway. Once we got there, we found a rally point for the Cajun Navy. The National Guard was pulling people out by helicopter as the Cajun Navy was getting them out of the floodwaters. We waded out into the water about waist deep and just started asking boats if they needed an experienced crew that had search and rescue type capabilities, gear and skills. The Cajun Navy was using a smartphone app called Zillow, and it's basically a push-to-talk service. And they were also using a application called Glimpse, which is a way to track people real-time on a map. Cajun Navy had a dispatch service that was running. The dispatch would find the person that needs help, locate the nearest boat using Glimpse, and then call that boat on Zillow to get that boat to that person as fast as possible. The first night we probably worked about 8 hours, maybe 10. We kind of lost track of time. I'm guessing anywhere between 8 and 10 hours. During that time, I'd say we pulled out probably 20 to 25 people and several pets, and got them to the National Guard, who was able to either airlift them out or take them out on large trucks. The dispatch for the Cajun Navy at one point had 13,000 requests for help tickets just in South Port Arthur alone. And at that point we knew that that's probably going to go on for days. The application Zillow and the application that we're also using, Glimpse, are very data intensive, and those applications are constantly running across thousands of boats and dispatchers in the area that we're all working in. One of the things that I found that was highly impressive was the AT&T trucks were everywhere. They kept the 4G signal running the entire time. If we had lost that signal and that connection, that entire operation with the Cajun Navy would have came to a grinding halt, and it would have been just shooting in the dark trying to find people to rescue. They were so effective because they were able to locate the boat, locate the person, and put those two things together instantaneously. We couldn't have done that if the AT&T network had died. So I thought that was very impressive on this company's part, and I was really proud that I was working at the company that was able to keep that going.